Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another STAMPtember exclusive. This is the Pinkfresh Studio Artistic Foliage stamp and coordinating stencil. Yes, that is right. I know you guys are going to be as excited about this as I am, as I feel like this is something a little different than what we normally see with our STAMPtember offerings. I have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. This is my favorite craft cardstock to use. And I am taking the artistic foliage image from the stamp set and laying it on my background. I'm also picking one of the 4 greetings that you get in the stamp set and kind of figuring out my placement for them here on my background. I am creating a 1-layer card today. I know I've talked about this a lot of times, but I love the challenge of a 1-layer background. I also love the ease that you get in sending a card that isn't super bulky and doesn't require extra postage or, a note to the post office that, please be careful or hand cancel or anything like that. So I love a card that is very easily mailed. But I love my layers. Because of that, I always try to find a way to add lots of layers to my 1-layer cards. So we're starting with our image, stamping both the foliage and our greeting with a clear embossing ink and heat embossing with white embossing powder. And I opted to stamp both and then sprinkle on the embossing powder. And then we're going to do a little stenciling, building from the background up, basically. Well, no, not the background up. We're building from the main focal point to the background. And no, it seems a little backwards, but I promise it will all work out perfectly. Now, my plan for this, because it's a very simple design, I wanted it to be very happy and fun. And I wanted to find a way to still be able to incorporate my favorite thing, which is that, little embellishment at the end. And I hope you guys agree with me that it ends up working out perfectly. So I'm heat embossing here first, and then I am going to grab the stamp wheel to use for my stenciling. I'm also going to use the corner ink pad little cube holder from Simon Says Stamp, plus the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated cubes, and I'm going to get everything prepped and ready for my stenciling. The stencils are a 2-piece set, so you have your base color and then a little darker detailing. I love that. I just love this about Pinkfresh Studio stencils. So you're going to tilt your stencil until it lines right up, just like so. I'm actually going to move that down a little bit so that it can stick in place. I love using the stamp wheel for this as it does hold it down really well. Now, because I will be stenciling my leaves in multiple colors, I'm not doing this whole image in, like a traditional green or something like that. I am going to use the small round detail blending brushes from Simon Says Stamp instead of a bigger brush like the standard brush or the small brush, which are things I would normally use. And I'm also going to grab all of my inks. I've got a lighter and a dark in pink, orange, yellow, aqua, blue, and purple. We're going to do the whole rainbow here today. And I can't emphasize enough, if you don't have some small round blending tool of some sort, they are so handy for small areas. See how easy it is to just keep that ink right where you want it. It's not going to overlap accidentally into any areas where you don't. I love that. We're going to do the light color first, and we're just going to go all the way through our design. And I'm kind of imagining it. I know it's 2 different leaf areas here, but kind of go down that left side, and then we're going to come up the smaller little branch. I'm using Carnation, Peachy. Now I'm using Sunbeam. Then we'll use some Sprout, surf, marine, and lilac. So those are my light colors. I did link to all of the cube sets that I use. So obviously in the cube sets, you get more inks than just the ones I'm talking about here. But the inks were so highly requested. I know you guys love them. They take up so much less room than traditional ink pads. They are fantastic. And then coming up that right side with our marine and lilac. Okay, then I'm going to remove my stencil. And I'm going to kind of look at my image. It looks amazing. I love it. I'm going to take a dry cloth and I'm just going to lightly buff a couple areas where the ink might be sitting on top of my embossing. We're going to take stencil number 2 and we're going to add our darker highlight area. Some of these will be a little darker than others. So we have our amethyst, then we'll have royal, fairway, yes, yes, citrine, oh, I forgot, we'll have ocean. Marine and then ocean, that's what I'm using here. Then fairway, I'm going back the opposite direction. Citrine, mandarin, and rose. And I'm using a pretty heavy hand, just working my way through my inks. This is a super easy card to create as well. I think this would be a fantastic card to mass produce and maybe do a whole set of thank you cards or do a whole bunch of birthday cards. You could use any greeting that you already have in your stash if you don't want to use one from this stamp set. You may have other Pinkfresh Studio stamps that you want to use. So that looks pretty good. Again, I see a couple of areas I need to clean up just a tiny bit with my microfiber cloth. I'm going to remove that. Oh, I love it. Let's move, no, actually I'm going to use the stamp wheel. I did decide to use the stamp wheel. Let's grab one of my very favorite backgrounds from Simon Says Stamp. This has been out for a few years. This is called the Good Reading background. And it's this grungy, like text type of stamp. We are going to ink this up with white pigment ink. Now, this is nothing new. You guys have seen me do this. This is one of my all-time go-to favorite techniques. However, today, I don't want it to be super dark. Our artistic foliage is pretty dainty. I don't want the text of the background to overpower my design. So I actually went to my trash and grabbed some packaging I had just thrown away. And I am going to stamp the first generation stamping on a scrap piece of paper. And then I will take the second generation without re-inking it and stamp that on the background. It instantly lightens the background so much. It's not near as dark as it would be. And as the ink dries, it will lighten a little bit more, but you can see that it just adds an amazing artistic background without overpowering the design. Next, I have a little bit of royal ink that I'm going to add a little water to. I'm just using my Simon Says Stamp glass mat, and I'm going to do a little wash of color and do a little splatter. You can make your own colorful splatter with your positively saturated inks. And I did a little royal, and then I'm going to use a little amethyst as well. And then I'm going to grab a little white gouache and do a little white splatter too. I mean, it's called artistic foliage background. Let's make an artistic card. That's kind of my thinking. Now, you're going to notice when I grab my white gouache, I accidentally pick up this paintbrush that I have not rinsed out, and it turns my white gouache pink. And because of that, I actually had to get a little bit more and redo that. Oh, I think I didn't do it till later. Hold that thought, everyone. So I actually did that last. I remember now. I decided to add it after I added my quote unquote flowers. You guys know I love adding little hearts to my design, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to take the Funfetti hearts from Trinity Stamps and really recreate the rainbow effect with the hearts, almost using them as like little buds or flowers on this artistic foliage branch or branches. So I am taking the little hearts and kind of those little stems that don't have anything, I'm adding funfetti hearts to them. We're going to go through the whole thing and add hearts all over the place. I love this as a little touch of embellishment. Again, it doesn't add a ton of bulk, and the interest it adds to the finished design is absolutely amazing. I was so super happy with this. I am using an embellishment wand for easy placement. I've got my little Simon Says Stamp triangle tray out here, which I highly recommend. It makes it so easy to pick exactly what you want out and then funnel it back into the storage container or storage bag. I love these little hearts. You could even do like all little white hearts or all whatever color you like. I even think it would be so pretty to do this branch in like greens and add red berries. You could add pearls, you could add gems, you could add sequins. You could even die cut some little flowers or stamp some little flowers. Your possibilities are endless, and just let your inspiration go and have fun. You'll notice in a couple of places I added like a trio of little hearts or 2 little hearts just to mix it up a little bit and have it be a little bit more fun. Now, this is where I decided, you know what? I had thought about adding white gouache. I didn't. I decided, you know what? Let's just go for it. So I'm going to add some to my glass mat, but I wanted to mention this to everybody. This is why you should, make sure that your paintbrush is clean. I have a pinky purple there that's not going to work for adding white splatter. So I'm going to grab a little more. I do like adding a little bit of water to my gouache just so it moves and it splatters a little bit easier. And I am just going to tap this all over, allow it to dry, glue my panel to a white top fold card base, and my card is all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this artistic foliage card featuring the STAMPtember 2023 Pinkfresh Studio exclusive limited edition. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell to always be notified when there is a new video or I go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.